What up, what up, what up? This is Deezo here. I have a quick question for everyone here. Show of hands. Who here can say that they have gotten fired from their job and placed top 8 at a major in the exact same day? Who here can say that? I know who can say that. Me. I have actually gotten fired from a job and placed top 8 in the same day for Street Fighter 4. So I will be telling that story here today. It's an amazing honor, and I am more than pleased to give you guys the details on what took place. And I got some sick ass Tracer gameplay for you guys here. I mean, you're gonna see pretty much I still don't really know how to control her. You're gonna see me flying off of edges and all sorts of other crazy ass shit. But you know, I'm not perfect. I'm still a work in progress. So I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to do the work. I'm trying to do the homework here. But I digress. With the story, this takes place back in 2009. Actually, about a month or so. I'd say like a month and a half after Evolution 2009. And pretty much the setting for this is right after Evolution 2009. I was really disheartened and disappointed with how I did in Street Fighter 4. Specifically, like at Evolution, I had practiced a bunch, at least as much as I could, and I was I'd say I was solid at the game. I wouldn't say I was very good, but at least in Seattle terms, I was pretty good, I guess. Which ultimately doesn't really mean much, as you know, we've learned in history. But I was pretty decent. I was pretty solid, and at Evolution, I went 2-2 in my pool, and I lost to a guy named Moose from. If some of you guys may remember Moose, but he was from New York, New Jersey. I think one of those New Englandish areas, something like that. I lost to him like 2-1 or something like that, and then I lost to a Cammy player, and I was out. I really should have actually made it out of that pool. I was the only person other than Moose that was of note was Dandai. He was in that pool, and that same weekend I was also a part of the Northwest team for the regional 5-on-5 event, that special event that they had. And we played Team New York or East Coast or whatever first round, and obviously those were like the titans of Street Fighter 4 at the time. You know, you had Justin, Long Island Joe, Arturo, Sanford, Marn, etc. And in that 5v5, I played Arturo in a Chun-Li Seth match, which unfortunately I didn't know anything about the matchup, and I just got scraped. So that was just a bad weekend for Street Fighter 4 for me, and so after that, you know, I was pretty disenchanted, so I didn't really play the game much anymore. And then around that time, I actually got hired at Best Western by the Space Needle, and they hired me on as a waiter slash bartender. And what's funny about that is prior to that, I had never been a bartender and I had never been a waiter, but I was quite certain that I could at least do the waiter part. You know, I'm not much of a You know, I used to drink like crazy back then, but I was never like the guy making and mixing drinks, and I was never really one to, you know, I could like carry on a conversation, you know, if somebody was trying to tell me how their day has been and stuff like that. I'd be a good like, you know, shoulder to cry on or something like that. I'd listen to what you had to say, right? So there were a couple of days where I was really good at being a bartender. I think I was probably there at that hotel specifically for maybe, see, I just fell off right there. For maybe about, I probably got paid like twice. So like a month. I was probably hired there for like a month, I think. Something like that. But anyway, basically, Northwest Majors 2 was coming up, and Northwest Majors 2 was only going to be a one-day event. And a lot of people were asking me if I was going to attend. And, you know, I was pretty committed to not attending because, you know, I have to work. And it's on a Saturday. There's no way I'm going to get that off. They need a waiter or bartender or something that day. There's no way I'm going to be able to make it. Anyway, as fate would have it, the week before Northwest Majors 2, and I cannot make this up, the week before Northwest Majors 2 at Best Western, there was some sort of movie premiere for some big Gondan Nigerian film. There was something going on there. There were Africans on deck in this hotel. And it just so happened I was the bartender that day. But this was one of those days where everything on earth is going wrong. Number one, woke up late. Number two, got stuck in traffic. Number 3, I got a parking ticket. Number 4, and this is the most fatal issue, I did not hold their cards for tabs. So you can only imagine how much money the hotel lost that day because of me. And those people were bottles on deck, dude. They were drinking everything, and of course they would because I was not holding cards for tabs. That's a rookie mistake. That's somebody who has not been a bartender before. But anyway, that takes place. You know, the worst day ever. Like, you know, it comes and goes. I get pulled into the office by my manager at the time, and he's trying to grill me with why it took place. And you know, I'll just let him know, hey man, I made a huge mistake. You know, I was having a terrible day. You know, I understand I was also half an hour late. And you know, he just wasn't having it. And what's funny is I had this Chun-Li keychain that makes sounds, right? Like when you press the button. For some reason, this was in my pocket. And so for the whole time, he was like berating me and lecturing me and telling me how poor of a job I did. You would hear this, like you could faintly hear this. I don't know if he heard it, but I definitely heard it. And you would hear this every so often in the background. So every time I would adjust myself in the seat, I would hit that button, and then Chun-Li would start popping off, and I would literally just start laughing. Like I was really trying hard not to laugh during that meeting. I already knew I was going to get fired, so what did it really matter if I was caught, you know, laughing, you know, while he's saying whatever he's saying to me. So he's like, yeah, you know, we're going to put you on leave, and, you know, we're going to figure out if we want to bring you back or not. Which pretty much said to me, I was fired. And I've gone through that, you know, that dance routine a number of times. I've been fired quite a few times from jobs. I feel like everyone's experienced it at least one time, right? So whatever, you fire me, I don't really care. It just so happens that the day of that particular meeting, that was Northwest Majors 2. And so I thought, well, damn, if I lost my job, you know, I don't have to work today, why don't I see what's up with the tournament? Northwest Majors 2 was in Tacoma that year, so I decided, well, look at this scrub right here, Stacy Keebler, that May player. He did that almost every time the match started. Anyway, that year it was in Tacoma. I decided, hey, I'm downtown, I might as well make the trip. I got fired, why not? I'll at least kick it and cut my losses there. I get to Northwest Majors 2, and the first person I see from what I remember was Pat. And Pat was like, oh, what's up, Deezo? What, you trying to enter Street Fighter 4? And I was like, well, I don't know, not really. But he's like, I'm paying for you to enter Street Fighter 4. I was like, well, all right, well, cool then. You know, that's tight. You know, I'll get to enter. And I hadn't played in about a month at that point. So I wasn't really sure how well I would do. But I decided to, you know, play some casuals, kind of get myself reacclimated to the speed of the game and my thought process, strategy, and all that. And I played Bison. I was like, man, let me just play Bison real quick and some casuals, see what happens. I ended up having a 22-game win streak in casual matches before the tournament started. That's where I kind of got the idea. I was like, I still got it. You know what I mean? I didn't lose it. It just so happened that Evolution, it just wasn't really my weekend. You know, and it was a learning process. It was a learning experience, and so it didn't really say anything bad about my game. It's just there were just some things I had to learn about high-level play. The poll starts, you know. I won a couple of matches, and my first notable opponent, I would say, was Mickey D. And he played Ryu, and of course, what happened was we were huge training partners. You know, he's like a younger brother to me and all that, so we were playing a lot of the time. And up until that point, I hadn't really lost to him in tournaments. Like we would always have really close matches, but this was the day where he put 2 and 2 together on that one. And he got me the fuck out of there. He beat me 2-0. Suddenly I'm in losers, right? That was like winner's semis of our pool. And we had about like 30 people in that pool. And it was definitely the hardest pool of all the pools in Northwest Majors 2. And he put me in losers, and from there I had to fight my way out. You know, I remember I beat like the people I remember playing in losers was like Ray Blade X. I beat Paul Lee. I beat this dude named, what was his name? Yabuki Style, that's who it was. I beat him in losers as well. And then that basically led up to me playing Mickey again in the losers finals to make it out of the pool. And what's funny is that I ended up beating him that time, and I made it out. But then I shortly got beaten when I made top 8. I lost in a basically reused the GOT matchup to King. But it was just funny making top 8, and it didn't really hit me until I was reminded of the story from a friend of mine, because I was looking for stories to tell, and then they were like, you know, why don't you tell some, you know, some old tournament stories and stuff like that. And I was thinking, I was like, man, I actually made top 8 the same day I got fired. Like, that's some crazy ass shit. Like, I'm pretty sure, I feel like other people have done this before. I feel like other people had to have done this. It can't be Deezo specific. Hell, if it is, that's tight. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I left my mark on the planet, you know what I'm saying? Shit. See how I watched in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, it was a funny experience looking back on it. And, you know, hey man, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, right? You gotta make the best of what you got. But that's, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say, whatever. But thanks a bunch for staying with me that entire long-winded story. I will definitely have more commentaries for you guys in the future. Thanks again as always. Please subscribe. Please check my blog. I will catch y'all later. Peace.
Could be the end. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Oh, I've never seen anything like this.
I still don't have what it takes.